All right, and moving on to our final topic of the day, we're just going to do some quick rapid fires. I know we spent some times on a couple of these teams and really did a more deeper dive into it. But for this topic, we're just going to go quick rapid fire. So I'm going to start. I'm going to start it off first because I think that we should talk about this team, and that's the Oklahoma City Thunder. Um,
Yeah.
they balled out. They absolutely balled out, and it was an amazing game to see against the Golden State Warriors in a 130-123 overtime dealing with Chet Holmgren having 36 points. Let me redo a stat line just so I can talk about this guy because he's been playing really well. 36 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Uh, he's what I thought. If he could offensively, build this momentum up, because to me, like, he was already going to be an elite defensive player. Like, there was no doubt about it. But now that he's kind of added, now that he's had this 36-point game, the question is, like, is he going to be consistent with it? That's still a wait and see. But what I will say is that, Chet Holmgren and the Oklahoma City Thunder are a for real team, and I'm excited to continue to watch these two, both SGA and Chet, grow.
I was thinking about something last night watching this team, and this is the question I wanted to pose to you guys about Chet. There's been a lot of players wrongfully compared to Kevin Durant over the years. Is he the most accurate comparison of all the guys that have been compared to KD? I was thinking about that watching him last night. Some of the turnaround jumpers, that three he hit to send it to overtime. There's just something about the way he moves on offense that, I the one that always comes to my mind was there was so many KD comparisons for Brandon Ingram in particular. Like, I will never not think of how much that guy got compared to KD. Unfairly, I should add. It shouldn't be on anybody to get compared to like a legend before they've played a full minute. I think that's so unfair. But Chet, just watching him, Bernie, I'll give you your apology. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to send it out to Chet. I said with a bullet, Paolo was the number 1 pick last season. I even said at points that I would consider taking Jabari Smith Jr. over Chet. I was wrong. Chet is unbelievable. I was worried about the frame, but the dude is just so smooth. Like, his game is so offensively crisp. His defense is like, what could you even say? He's always in the right position. Yeah, man. There's not been a guy who's been compared loosely to KD that I've seen more closely kind of look like he could have that kind of trajectory than Chet, in my opinion. Maybe my hottest take of the day, but he's got it.
Yeah, a lot of those turnarounds were really KD-esque, especially the one he hit to send it to overtime.
That was bonkers. I couldn't even believe he had that in his bag. That was wild.
I would say, the Ingram comparisons with him and KD is funny because they both do spam mid-ranges like crazy. So that's kind of true. But I think you're right. I think Chet's pretty close to him, and he's white KD. I can see it.
Even in the sense that his defense, I would just say their defense to offensive, how good they are on those sides of the ball is flipped, right? I would say Chet is definitely more the defensive specialist, KD more the offensive specialist. But there's just a lot, even on defense, when KD was at his peak defensive, what he could do to impact the game, it kind of looks like what Chet does. Chet just does a better version of it, a more centerly version of what KD used to do on defense. Kind of what KD's defense looked like with the Warriors at its peak, right? I'm not saying he's that good. That's a crazy statement to make. But Chet, I just think he could get there, which, to be honest with you guys, I didn't think that was possible a year ago. I just didn't think he had that in his bag. But he genuinely is much more talented than I gave him credit for.
As a rim protector, I really believe he's already at where KD was in Golden State.
Defensively, I honestly think he's one of the best defenders in the league already. It's pretty wild.
He shuts down the rim pretty well. My question, though, for OKC is, I think yesterday was kind of what we're going to see with this team going forward, because Josh Giddy only played 22 minutes. Cason Wallace off the bench played 28, and Isaiah Joe played 27. So man, I think the best version of this team doesn't include him playing because he can't shoot. He needs the ball in his hands, and he can't play defense. So it's just
You're right, but I think it's less about Giddy being a quality player and more just about the fit of the team.
I agree.
Cason Wallace,
I agree.
Cason Wallace is perfect fit. Like
Yeah.
he's not even trying to play offense sometimes. But the thing is, he's a more consistent at the way he tries to play offense is more consistent than what Giddy is doing right now. He is a much better defender than Giddy right now. Like it's not even close on that side of the ball. So yeah, he should be getting more minutes on their team right now with Shea and Chet being like the offensive guys.
Should someone be looking into getting Giddy?
Yeah.
If I was a general manager, I would be calling every day.
feel like he'd fit well in the Timberwolves, but because their defense could cover for a lot of him, and he fits the size scheme. 6'9" point guard. That'd be pretty crazy.
Yep.
God, dude, I would love him in New York. I'm telling you, I would be down. It's not the greatest defensive backcourt, him and Jalen Brunson, but I'm telling you, that is the type of guy like that. Like whether or not it works for OKC and it's the right trade, I just get a lot of Steve Nash, Dallas Mavericks vibes. Right? Was Steve Nash in the right spot when he was playing with Dirk in Dallas? Probably not at the time. That's why he got traded. But that's the kind of guy you go make a move for if you're a general manager. A guy that like clearly has a ton of talent but might not be in the right spot.
Yeah.
Just go do it.
Yeah.
All right. Next team. Who's got it?
Let's talk the Pistons. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
you want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead. No, we cool.
All right. Let's talk Pistons.
Detroit basketball.
I got to just bring up my guy. I don't even think this is a hot take, guys. I'm going to just say it because I believe it fully in my heart of hearts. All right. Ausar Thompson is an all defensive player already. He should be all defensive player in the NBA. That kid, I'm going to say something controversial. Another one. I'm going to back my other statement up with another one. I rode extremely hard for Scoot Henderson in the draft. I'm not sure I wouldn't take Ausar Thompson over Scoot Henderson at this point if we could redraft. That might be crazy, but that is a kid that is going to be on championship teams. He is going to be on winning teams for the rest of his career. I am astounded at how good he is. I'm astounded. I'm in love. I'm basketball in love with Ausar Thompson.
I'm with you. My fantasy team thanks him.
I've been more excited to watch a rookie on Detroit than just about anything in the NBA this season. You guys ever seen anybody like him?
No, the way he plays basketball is insane because his floor is like all NBA level defender. He has the stamina. All he does is run around the floor and play defense. He has the athleticism. That dunk on Clint Capella the other night was insane. Like he put him inside the rim. He has the feel for the game. Him and his brother grew up playing the guard position, so you'll see him set up nice lobs to Duran or Marvin Bagley. Like he's a good connector. He moves the ball. Like so, this floor as a basketball player is just nuts. If he ever gets like a handle, he kind of has a handle, but if he ever gets like a real handle and a jumper, that's an all NBA level wing, first team every year.
Yeah, he's an actual nightmare in the NBA if he has a jumper. Like he is teams are freaking out about the Pistons if that's the case.
And just because we're talking about Ausar, I have to say, can the Rockets please, I know he's injured right now, but when he comes back, can the Rockets please give Amen minutes? You drafted the twin higher, please. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. And I'm not any lower on Amen either. I honestly still think he's right there too. It's just he's in a harder spot to show it right now. And he's not really getting the opportunity like Ausar is for sure. What do you think, Bernie?
Yeah, I'm excited about this team moving forward. I just think that it's gonna be tough another year. I think this team is still just a little too young, but I think give them a little bit of time and they'll hopefully turn it around because they're kind of on this little big losing streak right now. So I hope that they can
10 games.
Yeah, hoping they can turn it around.
Tough.
But
they just got a lot of
future's exciting
good stuff on the team.
They need to go for shooting desperately in the offseason. Like sign every shooter you can find up.
Yes. I honestly think they should move on from Ivy too. I just don't think he fits on this team anymore. But what's his spot? He's going to be like a high-end 6-man at best at this point for this team.
I don't think you're wrong, but just off of like politics, you just drafted him. You
Yeah,
have
you
to.
can't.
Yeah,
You can't. I'm just saying,
yeah.
maybe in terms of value, he might be one of the guys they could actually go get some like legit shooting help for this team, like some young talent, make a move for. I don't know. I wouldn't trade him though. I guess I just talking
Ivy
crazy.
for Kobe White, straight up.
That is not the move, my friend. Patrick Williams and Kobe White for Jaden Ivey, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Let us know in the comment section down below what do you guys make of the Detroit Pistons. Well, do they have pieces in the future to move for hopefully a playoff run at some point, or do you think that this is kind of their ceiling? Let us know in the comment section down below. Brad, who we going with? What team we looking at?
The Indiana Pacers, baby.
Pacers. Rick Carlisle, your boy.
Your
Not
favorite
my boy.
coach in the league.
I cannot stand that Jim Carrey knockoff. I'll be taking no
He's
comments
like
on his
angry Jim
coaching.
Carrey.
He is literally angry Jim Carrey, and he takes it all out on his rookies. But they are the number one offense in the league, and they are literally obliterating teams with their offense every night. If you guys watch them play, they just play up and down, constantly. I love the way their team looks. I love the way Hallie looks. He looks like he's Steve Nash remastered. Steve Nash if he could score 35 with his eyes closed. Yeah, I love this team. They're super fun to watch. They play the Magic tonight, who is the number one defense. So number one offense versus the number one defense. It should be a good show, I think.
That's wild. The Pacers are they're such an interesting team, man. They really have a lot going on there. And they're kind of like weirdly on their own timeline. Like we're gonna go to the lore of the charge here. Me talking about the timeline for this team. They like, I don't even understand like what the long-term plans are, other than we just need to have the ball in Halliburton's hands at every single possession, which is exactly what they should be doing. Like he's the guy. He's every time I think of Halliburton, he goes up in my estimation in terms of where I think of him in the NBA, which I can't say that for really anybody else in the league. Like he's just always impressing me more than the last time I watched him. Which I guess is probably speaking to me still underestimating him a little bit, and more so, I guess, the Pacers just as an organization. But man, there's not many young guys. Like he's 23. Like he's got to be on the like extreme short list of 23 and younger guys that you would want to start a franchise around. He's kind of, like you said, Brad, he is definitely like unlocked Steve Nash. I know I just said that for Giddy a little bit ago, but I was more talking about the fit in terms of where he was in his career, right? Like Halliburton is really like modern day Steve Nash. If Steve Nash would shoot the way he could have shot back then, but in today's NBA, that's Halliburton now. Like he is unlocked in this modern era to be the best version of himself. So yeah, I'm all in for Halliburton. He is going to be an all NBA player this season, in my opinion. I just don't see a universe in which he's not. It would be a travesty if he isn't.
Yeah.
Unless he gets hurt, but let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pacers are a fun team to watch. You know how I feel about Halliburton. That was my my fantasy guy last year, but just in terms of what he was at the draft and what I saw from him, like just watching a little bit of the Iowa State film, I was sold instantly. Like I know a lot of people were like questioning the shot, and that was kind of like the big, what people would call a red flag for him. But I had no issues or qualms with that shot. I thought he was going to be successful in the league just because he's a tall, again, tall point guards that can move the ball and shoot it. I'm sold instantly.
Just
goes in.
Not even a question of the fact that he has one of the higher NBA like IQ twos. Like he's just so smart on the court. And Bernie, I'll give you all the credit you deserve. You were way in on Halliburton way before everyone else. You were screaming from the mountaintops that Halliburton should have been a much higher draft pick in that year. I mean, it's still shocking that he slipped the way he did.
Bro, I am on the record saying the Bulls should have drafted him. I remember we did that video, and I said the Bulls need a point guard. Take Halliburton, and they took Patrick Williams. Oh my god,
so crazy! They reached for Patrick Williams at 4. Good lord. I gotta
Yeah.
actually look that draft up. Also, before we move on, I just have to throw this one last thing out about my guy, Asur Thompson. I don't know if you guys know this. He's the 11th. He's averaging the 11th most rebounds in the entire NBA. He averages more rebounds than 90% of centers and power forwards in the league right now. Let's
That's
move on, though.
ridiculous.
I
That's
forgot to mention that
ridiculous.
earlier. I
Oh
wanted
my
to throw it
god.
out there. 10.2 rebounds per game.
Oh man. But yeah, let us know in the comment section down below. Pacers, 4th in the East, playing really well.
Bruce, Bra-
Let us
Bruce
know
Brown,
what you
one of the
think about
best
the team.
signings.
Yeah.
Gotta be in
He's a good
Yeah,
one of
signing.
the
gotta be
best
up
signings of the
there.
offseason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Been killing it.
super solid. But let us know in the comment section down below. What do you guys make of the Indiana Pacers and their future? Let us know in the comment section down below. Alrighty. I guess I could talk about one more team, and then I'm probably teamed out after this one. There's one team I
I
was going
kind of
to
want to talk. I kind of want to talk about Orlando just because I owe you another apology, Bernie. But we don't need to talk about them either.
No, let's go there. The apologies are always
He
welcome.
wants his apology.
All right, you
Man's
go
fishing.
ahead. You go ahead, man.
All right. Well, let's end it off with some Orlando Magic. This is a team I think all three of us were high on as in
Yeah.
terms of just being a young team in the NBA, even going from last season. You know, obviously starting out with Paolo, first pick of the draft last season, but I was pretty critical of their offseason this year, and I still am to a certain extent. I'm still not 100% sold on the Jet Howard of it all, but I will say this, Bernie. I was wrong about Anthony Black. He is genuinely a very impressive player for his age, and just the type of player he is he's very unique. I kind of underestimated how not like most guards he is. He's very big and he's really lanky, but he kind of like he just doesn't need the ball in his hands to be impactful for this team. And he's a much better defender than I was expecting. So, Bernie, I will say I owe you an apology. I gave you a lot of grief about Anthony Black as what was he, the 6th overall pick. I was not a fan of that pick for the Orlando Magic, but really they have proved me wrong so far. He's proved me wrong. But what do you guys think of Orlando so far? I was pretty sold on them as at least a play-in team coming into the season, and I feel even more strong about that so far. What are you guys feeling for them?
Yeah, I think for sure they're a playing team. And I'm actually really impressed that they've been able to stay afloat with Wendell Carter out, because last year when he got hurt, it was curtains for their defense and everything. And this year he got hurt pretty early on, and they've shot up to the number one defense. Goga Batadze has been playing well. Mo Wagner's been playing well. Their guard play, like you said, Pete, Anthony Black has been amazing. Fultz has been out, and that's kind of like the future for that team, really. I don't think Fultz fits with Paulo and Franz. But I've been really impressed with Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs man, his
Thank you.
defensive
I almost
tenacity
forgot
was
about it.
his tenacity on defense has always been there, but like now on offense, he's kind of putting it together. So you're seeing what he can be, like affecting the game on both ends, and it's pretty impressive. You know, he's guarding the best guard every night, playing great defense. He's making more threes. He's getting to the hoop. He's making good. He kind of looks like Gonzaga Jalen Suggs, just a little smaller version, but he kind of looks like that, you know. So yeah, Cole Anthony off the bench, he's not just a shot chucker anymore. All of a sudden, he's picking his spots. He's being really efficient, playing better defense. I love what I've seen from Cole this year. I love the team. Super fun to watch, and they're playing good basketball for a young team.
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean, I'm excited to see this team continue to grow. I think 7-5 right now. I think they're 5th in the East, or 7th, sorry, in the East. But I just think that's just due to age, and just like anything with sports, like the older you get, the more experience you get, the more talent you get, the better you get. So I just think as these guys get older, guys like Paolo, even Wagner a little bit to some extent, Anthony Black, even Jalen Suggs, like we're seeing like a different team every year. And so if they keep this core together, I think they'll be a super solid team. And I'm excited to see where this team can go in the future. With Paulo, I'm excited, man. Like he's been balling out lately. I think him and Franz are kind of the best little 1-2 combo they got there in Orlando. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's just more age, more experience, and more of those like situations where they have to like make some big plays, like Paulo did against the Bulls. Even though it's the Bulls, this is still a very young team.
Over Caruso.
Yeah, it's a young team, and you just gotta you got to learn how to win those moments and win those games. So I thought it was a good moment for that team to go through. And so I'm excited for the Orlando Magic, and I think they probably will sneak into the play-in game. I think that's going to be a big win for them.
I'm honestly not sure they're not just like the 6th seed. I think they're better than Miami. I mean, that might be crazy. That might be crazy. I'm sorry. I'm just saying by the end of the season, more experience under this team's belt. I just don't know who on Miami other than Jimmy and Bam are scoring on this team right now. Like, I don't know. They're huge.
I agree, like in the sense that I mean, you're right for sure. But Miami just always finds a way. I just can't put them out. Like,
they do. The coaching is a huge point differential too.
Literally,
it's very true. I'm more just saying perspective. Like by the end of the season, if things keep going as planned, they keep getting better as a team. They are all, they stay healthy. I'm just saying, I think there's definitely it's not even a question in terms of talent, but really like just the trajectory. They're on the upswing, and Miami is certainly not going up. They're probably more just trying to hold even for where they've been the last few seasons. But like add Wendell Carter, like there's just so much size, there's so much defense on this team, and really like you said, Brad, like Jalen Suggs is kind of the guy the team's been missing for seasons now. That type of guard is what they've been trying to draft every season for the last few years, including Suggs. But he's finally getting to the point where he's that guy. They finally have Jonathan Isaac back, is healthy after seasons. He's still showing why they've held on to him as a defender. Like he's an incredible defender even after all the injuries he's had. Man, I'm very high on this team. This to me, there's no clearer team in the East that's like they're not on the same pace as OKC, but they're the Eastern Conference's OKC for sure, in my opinion. There's just tons of talent everywhere, and really, Bernie, if your guy Anthony Black can keep playing this level of defense, they have Suggs. I don't see why their defense won't be one of the better season long for the entirety of this year.
Yeah, and just give these guys a little bit more time, a little more development, and this team will be very good in the future. I have no doubt about it.
Yeah, I agree. I want to give a sneaky shout out to Joe Ingles. I think he's been like an underrated signing. I'm looking at their lineup data, and every single lineup he's a part of is positive. Like every single one. He just plays smart basketball. So he's making the young guys around him play smart basketball.
If he was the Milwaukee Joe Ingles from a few years ago still, though, he would be even more perfect. They really need shooting. They really need shooting. I wish they would, they should go get Bogdanovich from Detroit. He comes back healthy. That would be a good player for them.
Yeah,
probably not on the right timeline though, but he would be a good fit though. Just as somebody
Detroit
that takes
probably
some threes.
needs him though. They're going to hold on to him with an iron fist.
They're not getting rid of him. They don't have any shooting on that team.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Without further ado, I think that's going to cut it. Unless you guys have one more team that we can quickly talk about.
I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I'm good.
Alrighty. So thank you once again for joining us here on The Charge, getting the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. We do appreciate you guys tuning in to this episode where we talk more about the quick couple minutes about each team. Not just shouting out the teams that your first takes and your FS1 shows talk about day in, day out. We talk about the teams that no one really talks about, along with those teams as well. Don't get me wrong, but we do appreciate you guys for tuning in and talking about some teams that normally don't get a lot of love. So we just want to show some of these teams some love. But without further ado, that's going to do it here for The Charge, the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. Please remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. And thank you, Brad and Pete, for again tuning in and hopping on and spitting some game out here.
Dude, thanks for having me as always. We can do it 5 days a week.
I know. Hopefully one day we'll work towards that. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it here for The Charge. We'll catch everybody on the next episode. Peace out.